I thank you from the bottom of my heart because I found a new me again. It's the courage to just take the world by the horns, you know, ride it. Unbelievable. We did it together. Bear, I love you. Thank you so much. Onwards!
Running wild, restart me! Yeah. We did it!
Whose strategy on the floor will take them to the finale? The floor semifinals, tomorrow on Fox.
Now, your primetime local news leader. Fox 22 News at 10.
A person is dead after being struck by a vehicle in Bradford early this afternoon. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Beth Jones. Authorities say the call came in around 12:40. Penobscot County Sheriff Troy Morton says it happened on Route 221 in Bradford. He says a vehicle traveling south on Route 221 toward Glenburn struck a pedestrian who was on the roadway. The person was pronounced dead on scene.
We were assisted by emergency medical folks from both Glenburn and Bradford Fire, which attempted to provide life-saving efforts here at the scene, but those were unsuccessful.
Sheriff Morton says some details are not being released until family members are notified. He says witnesses are being interviewed and the investigation is ongoing. The Maine Masonic Foundation has announced a new matching grants initiative to help local lodges assist their communities in the aftermath of the Searsmont fire and explosion. The foundation is allocating an additional $50,000 in matching funds to further aid eligible victims, local organizations, and nonprofits affected by the fire. A statement says the Masons have a long history of promoting the well-being of their communities in challenging moments like these, whether by offering their time and talents or by providing direct financial aid. It says they encourage victims, community organizations, and nonprofits that are in need or are offering assistance to contact their local Masonic lodge. Robbins Lumber, by the way, has since reopened. And on that note, as we said, workers in Searsmont are back on the job at Robbins Lumber. The mill was closed for 11 days because of the explosion and fire last month. Now the acting president says the mill is fully operational. As Brad Rogers shows us, donations continue to be raised for the family members and first responders still hospitalized.
A Robbins Lumber employee told us off camera things are getting back to normal at the mill. Acting President Catherine Robbins Halstead says the company's East Baldwin Mill has also stepped up production efforts to help out. The company is also using its Sanford location for warehousing in addition to the temporary warehouse built at the Searsmont Mill. 12 people remain hospitalized, some with very serious injuries, including 3 members of the Robbins family.
Alden, Jim Robbins Jr. and Alden's daughter are still in Boston in the wound care unit down there, and that's where our thoughts are with the families that have been affected, especially the first responders and then the Robbins family members.
Robbins Halstead says the family is encouraged by their progress and remain hopeful. There are numerous fundraisers. Donations to the Maine Strong Foundation go to the family of the firefighter killed and the 12 others who were injured. There are also fundraisers for first responders, including one here in Searsmont. In addition to the $75,000 in donations to Town Hall for their injured first responders, local businesses are also raising money. At this redemption center in Searsmont, people are donating their bottles and cans to injured firefighters and first responders.
Every day we have cans come in. There's 7 bags on the table right now that I'm counting.
Ryan Fry says in a week and a half, they've raised nearly $700.
This is going to be long term for them. They're out of work for a long period of time, so they're going to need a lot of support.
The Maine Strong Foundation has raised nearly $440,000 to support families impacted by the explosion and fire. The U.S. Small Business Administration is also offering economic injury loans for anyone impacted by the fire. That includes logging contractors who supplied timber to the mill.
was Brad Rogers reporting. In other news, the mural of a rainbow pride flag in downtown Bangor has been repainted after being vandalized right after the start of Pride Month. Crews from Bangor Public Works were seen this morning painting over tire marks that are believed to be the result of burnouts on the pride flag painted along the bridge connecting Hammond and State Street. City staff tell us the flag was painted just last Wednesday. The flag is painted in the same area every year for Pride Month. It's also located near a memorial dedicated to Charlie Howard, a Bangor man who died after being attacked in 1984 for being openly gay.
I would say, generally speaking, I find Bangor a wonderfully inclusive, warm, friendly, welcoming city for all people, and I think it's important that we remain that way.
I was disappointed. I mean, what's the point of doing something like that? You know, they're just out here painting it again, and I'm glad they are, because of what it symbolizes. It's something exciting for our city, and it's beautiful. It adds color, and you know, no matter how many times people want to do stuff like this to symbols, it doesn't diminish anyone's spirit. It doesn't crush anybody. It just makes us more determined to be the welcoming and inclusive community that we are.
A spokesperson for the city of Bangor described the incident as disappointing and says the city will continue to address such occurrences and continue to work with valued partners interested in making meaningful contributions to downtown and the city. Bangor police say they are also monitoring the incident. About half of Maine households are struggling to get by. That's according to a new national study from the Brookings Institute, which is a national public policy nonprofit group. The study says just 54% of Mainers are meeting their basic needs, which is just under the national average. Experts say it's not just high gas prices or even tariffs, but also increasing costs for groceries, housing, and health care. Sam DeCoste reports.
An astonishingly high number of households in Maine and across the country are barely able to make ends meet.
Experts are calling it an affordability crisis. According to the States of Affordability report, affordability in Maine has been steadily declining for years. The report claims 11% fewer Mainers are making ends meet compared to 2022. Garrett Martin from the Maine Center for Economic Policy says gas prices and tariffs alone are posing increased costs.
You're talking about Maine households having to absorb an additional $2,000 a year in costs. And that's before you start to consider what else is happening in the economy.
For Mainers of color, even fewer people are getting by. Just 40% of Hispanics and Latinos are making ends meet, and just 34% of Black Mainers.
You have the reality of what people's daily experience is. And their daily experience says, wait a second, I'm playing by the rules. I'm doing what I thought I should be doing. I'm working, you know, I'm getting educated, and yet I'm still falling behind. Why is that?
That's how some people who live in Maine say they're feeling. Melanie Cahill says the steadily increasing costs are noticeable, forcing her into tough day-to-day decisions.
I try not to drive. I try to walk everywhere as much as I can just because I like it, and I have cut back on like how much we go out to eat. And I actually really do look at the prices in the grocery store now where I didn't used to bother. Now I'm like, oh, $9 for blueberries.
According to data from the report, Cumberland, York, Oxford, and Franklin counties are where Mainers are struggling to keep up the most. But Kennebec County is by far the county where the most people are meeting their basic needs.
And that was Sam DeCoste reporting. A new sign along a high-traffic Down East roadway is drawing criticism from locals. Our Alex Schley tells us why local business owners are concerned about the impact it could have on their bottom line.
Business owners in one Down East community are speaking out over a new Maine Department of Transportation sign along Route 9. The sign warns drivers of limited service for the next 75 miles and is now drawing criticism from some who live and work in the area.
It's kind of insulting that the end of the world stops at Clifton, which I'm not putting Clifton down or anything. It's just we're as important as they are. It's, you know, it just makes a sign seem like there's nothing after. And we just want to make sure that people know it.
The sign in question is located here along Route 9 East in Clifton, just feet away from the town's general store. Amherst resident Ralph Jordan has owned the general store for more than 30 years. This weekend, he took to Facebook to share his frustration with the sign.
Hey folks, Ralph Jordan at the Amherst General Store. Well, I'm not there now, but I will be. I'm not too happy about this sign. it says 75 miles. You go 8 more miles down the road, you got the Amherst General Store, you got the Airline Brewery, you got the Christmas Tree Ranch, you got Mesa's Takeout, you got Hillside Game and Ranch. What more could you ask for?
Jordan says he understands the need for the sign, but believes it should include more clarification about what services are actually available along the route.
13 more miles to get gas if they're open, and then it's pretty much Baileyville before you get to the next gas station.
The Maine Department of Transportation sent ABC7 and Fox 22 a statement saying, in part, quote, the existing sign noting limited service for the next 75 miles was intended to provide advance notice to motorists. While a local general store does provide services in the area, those services are not available at all hours. Following our review, Maine DOT plans to add supplemental language to clarify. In Hancock County, Alex Schley for ABC7 and Fox 22 News.
The busiest lobster port in Maine is planning to add to its working waterfront. Our Sam Miller has the story.
In a project that's 4 years in the making, the town of Stonington aims to add access to its fishing pier. The town is seeking grant funding to create a new pier and ramp, which would add more float space. The pier will provide fishermen with better access to the water, which Assistant Harbor Master Dana Webb says is getting scarce.
They're going to need access to get in here. I mean, there's, people getting old that are dropping out, but there's a lot more trying to get into it. So it's just going to help all the way around.
The project would add room for more dinghies to be tied up, as well as add resiliency to rising sea levels. Linda Nelson, Stonington's Economic and Community Director, says the project is a great long-term plan to help the town thrive.
I think this is a great example of working waterfront resilience. There's very little working waterfront left in the state of Maine. Stonington is a very busy and productive harbor, but to stay a busy and productive harbor, we need to sustain our working waterfront infrastructure, and this project is a great example of that.
Nelson says that if funds are granted, the project could be finished in a year from the time it starts. In Stonington, Sam Miller, ABC7 and Fox 22 News.
Alrighty, folks, well, let's pause now. We'll peek outside and get a first look at our forecast.
All right, thank you, Beth. Well, temperatures for today were very nice. We had temperatures in the mid to upper 60s. Some spots were in the low 70s. Beautiful day out there. We got lots of sunshine, some clouds, a couple sprinkles earlier today, but other than that, this evening is a very nice evening to get outside and enjoy the beautiful weather out there. Overnight tonight, these clouds will clear out, making way for even sunnier skies for your Wednesday, making Wednesday just a beautiful day to get outside and enjoy some of these temperatures and this beautiful weather that is on our way. For tonight, though, temperatures are going to be falling down into the low to mid 40s.
Thank you, Anna, and we have much more to come on Fox 22 News at 10.
Blazing Trails, located in Lincoln, is your #1 trusted caregiver storefront. From personalized consultations to the highest quality product, Blazing Trails provides outstanding patient services to Eastern and Central Maine. Discover how we're blazing the trails to quality holistic medicine.
I'm Owen McCarthy, running for governor. Here's why they say I can't win. Not a politician. I'm an engineer, business builder, and problem solver. Augusta, they don't do problem solving. No famous last name. Yeah, I'm the son of a logger and a lunch lady from north of Augusta. Plan is too detailed. My plan makes Maine affordable for working people. They say it's too smart for politicians to understand. Too nice. Yeah, I'm not an asshole. I'm Owen McCarthy. Let's prove him wrong.
Craving something delicious? Welcome to High Street Market, located at 167 Enfield Road in Lincoln. Breakfast options? Grab a cup of coffee and try one of our sandwiches or burritos. When breakfast is over, we're just getting started. Pizza, subs, burgers, and pastries. Come get lost in Danny's Beer Cave. Order online and save 10% off your first order. High Street Market, where your taste buds go to party.
Joe Baldacci, the hand-picked yes man of dark money DC. He's bankrolled by DC and beholden to them, not us. The truth? Joe Baldacci is the only Democrat running for Congress who stands with Trump and opposed implementing Medicare for all Mainers now. Good for the establishment, bad for Mainers. Reject dark money and corporate Democrats. Vote no on DC's handpicked yes man, Joe Baldacci. Real Change PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Blazing Trails, located in Lincoln, is your #1 trusted caregiver storefront. From personalized consultations to the highest quality product, Blazing Trails provides outstanding patient services to Eastern and Central Maine. Discover how we're blazing the trails to quality holistic medicine.
Welcome back. As Maine's primary election approaches quickly, we want to give our viewers a deeper look into the candidates you'll potentially be voting for. Today, we hear from Republican gubernatorial candidate Bobby Charles.
I ended up on a scholarship and working my way through Dartmouth College and then Oxford University with a degree in economics, and then Columbia Law School, the Reagan White House. Ended up serving my country 10 years in the Navy, Navy intelligence officer. Loved that experience, active duty after 9/11 and some other things. And then just a series of lightning strikes. I ended up being a federal investigator for 5 years for Gingrich. I ended up spending a lot of time working on issues that related to national security, criminal justice, and in particular working as a crime fighter to try to figure out some of the worst problems in the country. And then got a call from Colin Powell, who asked if I would consider being his Assistant Secretary of State. I told him right off first, are you sure you have the right number? And he said, I do. And then I had written a book called Narcotics and Terrorism, and at that point those were big issues. And then I said, gosh, I mean, I'd pay money to work for you. So bottom line is I ended up being an Assistant Secretary of State. My mission was to downsize a lot of the giant multi-billion-dollar operations at state, which I did. I removed bureaucrats and I thinned it out and made it efficient. But at the same time, I had to, while I was laying track, I needed to continue to deliver. So I trained the Iraqi police. I trained the Afghan police with Dave Petraeus was on the other side of those missions with the Army. I ended up helping to bring down the Cali cartel and a bunch of other things. So all of that creates a situation in which you come back to Maine with a good education, good life experience, an entire life really dedicated to service. I did spend 25 years, and I still run a company dedicated to national security. We work with the Pentagon, the various combatant commands. We do counter-narcotics training for the National Guard. And so here's what happens. You come back to Maine, and you say, okay, here are all the things I've done, and here are the problems of Maine. I've managed billions of dollars. We have big mismanagement and I would say incompetence and corruption in the government in Maine. That's important. We have a big drug problem, and that's important. We match the drug experience to the drug problem. I have been very much focused on fraud. We have a state focused on, unfortunately, managing fraud. The bottom line is, I believe that God puts us all where we're supposed to be. You right now watching this, me here talking. I believe that we have to listen very, very closely to what our mission is. And I believe that the best way to use my skills when I get up every morning, having had my life saved many times in different places, the best thing I can do is to serve the people of Maine. So I've gotten up and spent the last 13 months campaigning to tell you I want to cut taxes, property taxes, income taxes, give seniors exemptions on taxes. I want to cut crime and drugs. I want to rebuild our schools. I want to get our energy costs down. And finally, I want to get the fraud out of Maine. And that's me, Bobby Charles.
And as we look to the primary election, we're digging into more information about candidates. Our Callie Warren has the details on gubernatorial candidate finance records.
For Maine's gubernatorial candidates, we're looking at 4 independents, 5 Democrats, and 8 Republicans in the running. The Maine Ethics Commission keeps track of those candidates, the funds that they've raised, and their up-to-date expenditures. Starting with independents, Rick Bennett has $528,000 raised in total and a little over $295,000 in expenditures, leaving him with $233,000 in cash on hand. W. Edward Crockett is looking at $9,000 raised overall, with $1,250 for expenditures, so his cash on hand total is $7,800. Looking now at our Democrat hopefuls, Shenna Bellows has $1,073,000 in contributions and loans, $515,000 in expenditures, and $419,000 for cash on hand. Troy Jackson raised $643,000 and spent a little over $388,000, leaving him with $140,000. Angus King III has $908,000 raised in total and a little shy of $570,000 spent, with $314,000 left over. Hannah Pingree has raised over $1.3 million and spent just under $650,000, leaving her with just over $500,000. Nirav Shah has $509,000 raised and $170,000 spent, ending up with $275,000 for cash on hand. Finally, our Republican runners, Jonathan Bush has $1.3 million in contributions and loans, over $700,000 in expenditures for a cash-on-hand total of $617,000. Bobby Charles is looking at $621,000 raised, $300,000 spent, leaving him with $290,000 left over. For David Jones, contributions and loans total $439,000. Expenditures are $212,000, making for $173,000 cash on hand. James Libby has raised almost $15,000 and spent $14,300, leaving him with $389. No data is available for Garrett Mason. Owen McCarthy is looking at $391,000 raised and has spent $176,000, making his cash on hand total $166,000. Ben Midgley has raised around $500,000 and spent $235,000, leaving him with $158,000. Robert Wessels is looking at $41,000 raised, almost $25,000 in expenditures, $16,000 cash on hand. Those are the numbers for the gubernatorial race as it currently stands. In studio, I'm Callie Warren for ABC 7 Fox 22 News.
And just ahead, we have your national headlines. Stay with us.
Need a driveway paved or an entire road surfaced? Give Eaton Paving and Excavation a call. Eaton Paving offers a full line of excavation packages, from new home projects to new and replacement septics and driveways. We also install new shoreland and do shoreland repairs. Our operators have more than 75 years combined experience, and we have been delivering quality, professional service for nearly 3 decades. We strive to exceed your expectations. Give us a call today at 207-348-5630 or visit us at EatonPaving.com.
Are you experiencing foot pain? Comfort Shoes and More has a team of experts trained in pet orthotics to help you find relief. They offer tailored fittings, shoe modifications, customized orthotics, and much more for the ordinary or for the hard-to-fit foot, with fashionable and functional footwear from today's top brands: Hoka, Brooks, Keen, Teva, Taos, Ufus, and Birkenstocks. From running to walking, casual or dress, they have it all. Take the drive to Newport for a sit and fit to find your perfect fit. You and your feet will be glad you did.
Matt Dunlap sided against Maine women. Dunlap's anti-abortion voting record earned him a 100% rating from Maine Right to Life. We deserve answers. Matt Dunlap says,
no regrets at all.
Now a mystery group tied to Republicans is meddling with $300,000 to elect Dunlap. Vote for a Democrat we can trust, with a 100% voting record from Planned Parenthood. Joe Baldacci.
I'm Joe Baldacci, and I approve this message.
Welcome to outdoor living. Welcome to Granville Stone and Hearth. Goodness knows we've been cooped up long enough. Make plans now to enjoy the outside of your home, too. Come to Granville and see, touch, and imagine what you can do in your backyard. Light a path, light a fire, grill a meal, sit a bit. It's all in stock. There's a staycation right outside your door with expert help from Granville, one of the largest outdoor living suppliers in Maine. Granville Stone and Hearth, Main Road, Holden.
You're watching Fox 22, Bangor.
Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche said the Trump administration is abandoning plans to create a fund meant to compensate allies of the president after the idea received political backlash from both sides of the aisle and setbacks in the courts. Fox's Kevin Cork has more.
We are not moving forward with the fund,
period.
Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche telling a House panel the Justice Department is scrapping plans to create President Trump's highly criticized anti-weaponization fund.
The reasons for the fund is something that President Trump talked about for a long time, which is the fact that there were a lot of people in this country who had their government weaponized against them.
The proposed $1.8 billion fund was meant to compensate the president's political allies, who he claimed were targeted during President Biden's administration. Settlements could have even gone to Trump supporters who were part of the January 6th riots at the Capitol.
We've heard from both Republicans and Democrats, constituents and Americans across the country about this fund, and I think they would love to be reassured that this fund will not progress.
The fund came out of a settlement between the president and the IRS over his leaked tax returns, but the legality and oversight of the fund was immediately questioned.
Are you going to issue a new memo in writing, rescinding that May 18th memo?
I'm not committing to putting anything in writing.
I'm just concerned because you're not under oath, and I want to trust you and I want to believe you. We all do, but putting it in writing would settle that issue.
Despite abandoning the fund, the settlement term barring the IRS from investigating Trump's family or businesses for past tax issues remains intact. In Washington, I'm Kevin Cork, Fox News.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio was on Capitol Hill working to reassure lawmakers the president's strategy to wind down the war with Iran is still on track. His efforts are despite Iranian claims that talks are on hold until Israel stops attacking Hezbollah in Lebanon. Fox's Caroline Shively reports from Washington.
Let's face it, Mr. Secretary, the Trump foreign policy has become a dumpster fire.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio facing tough questions on the president's plan for Iran while testifying on Capitol Hill Tuesday, his first time under oath since the war began.
Mr. Rubio, you keep telling us how we're winning this war. The president keeps saying,
well, the war's over
completely annihilated. The war is not over.
Democrats focused on Iran's effective closure of the Strait of Hormuz, which has blocked 20% of the world's oil deliveries and sent gas prices soaring.
You will not give
those
sanctions
agreements
relief just in exchange for reopening the strait.
No, that's not been discussed. That's not been offered.
Secretary Rubio told lawmakers the U.S. could be on the verge of a deal, possibly within days, saying any agreement must block Iran from producing a nuclear weapon.
Not only would they have a nuclear weapon, not only would they control the straits, they would be able to act with impunity because you wouldn't be able to touch them.
As Rubio testified, President Trump posted, claiming Iranian media reports that Tehran and Washington stopped speaking a few days ago were erroneous. Iran says they won't make a deal with the U.S. unless Israel stops attacking Hezbollah in Lebanon.
We are trying to view the Lebanon-Israeli talks as separate and distinct from Iran. And what Iran wants to do is mix it all together because Hezbollah is not legitimate.
Secretary Rubio will be back on Capitol Hill Wednesday testifying before two more committees. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox News.
Meanwhile, the Iran war continues to tighten global oil supplies, with total U.S. crude inventories falling by more than 17 million barrels last week. The Trump administration is considering another plan to help replenish reserves. Fox's Edward Lawrence has more from the White House.
3 months into the Iran war, and America's emergency oil stockpile is shrinking. The Strategic Petroleum Reserve now has 357 million barrels left, the same as during part of the Biden administration. It's undergoing a drawdown as part of a global effort to combat energy shocks caused by the transit disruptions through the Strait of Hormuz.
I believe the Strait of Hormuz will be flowing again in the not too distant future. Could be sooner than later if it's a negotiated deal with Iran. It could take longer if it's entirely done militarily.
Secretary Chris Wright is pledging to fill the SPR by the end of 2027. An Energy Department spokesperson tells Fox Business, quote, unlike the previous administration, which drained the SPR and used the revenue to help fund their Green New Scam agenda, the Trump administration exchanged the barrels for lower cost barrels that will be delivered back to the SPR next year. But experts say it would keep demand and prices high.
This administration has not thought any of this through. They left our oil reserves low and failed to even work with our allies to prepare for the calamity that came.
Administration officials tell Fox they're working on another plan that would offer reduced fees for drilling on military and other federal lands in exchange for a portion of the pumped oil to go directly to refilling the SPR. Analysts warn that these deep drawdowns leave the U.S. exposed to energy spikes if there's an emergency like for hurricanes or the Iran war continues. At the White House, Edward Lawrence, Fox Business.
President Trump tapping a successor for Tulsi Gabbard to head up America's intelligence agencies. A lack of experience in intel or national security has some lawmakers questioning the selection. Fox's Caroline Elliott reports.
President Trump selected Bill Pulte as the acting director of national intelligence, and Democrats described the move as insulting.
This administration continues to put people in places where they can't do a job and non-serious people up for serious jobs.
Currently, the director of the Federal Housing Finance Agency, Pulte, will now be tasked with coordinating 18 agencies that make up the broader U.S. intelligence community, including the CIA and FBI.
President Trump has chosen someone with literally zero national security or intelligence experience to be the director of national intelligence.
The White House's allies are brushing off questions about Pulte's resume.
It's always helpful to have background, but it's also, you want people that are good at process, because that's a lot of this is organizing things. So I think he'll do a good job.
But even some Republicans have concerns.
I see no evidence of any qualifications for that job.
It's unclear how much lawmakers could fight back, as the Senate already confirmed Pulte in 2025. The Trump administration is confident that he's the right man for the job.
Bill Pulte is a terrific guy, very careful person, very much in the details of things, trusted by the president, and a really, really close friend to everybody in the White House. He'll do a great job.
So for now, Pulte can serve as acting director without a single vote from Congress, but acting officials can only serve 210 days without Senate approval. In New York, Caroline Elliott, Fox News.
And still to come, we have more of your national headlines. Don't go anywhere.
It all comes down to a 2-minute thrill ride. The Belmont Stakes, Saturday on Fox.
Dreaming of a new garage or custom build? Patriot Landscaping and Construction delivers from frame to finish. Expert craftsmanship, durable designs, and quality you can trust, we get it done right. Call Patriot Landscaping and Construction today. Let's build your future together.
If you need a lobbyist in D.C., Bobby Charles might just be your guy. But if you want a conservative businessman who will shake up Augusta, then vote for me. I'm Jonathan Bush. I'm an outsider, a job creator, and a disruptor. As governor, I will fight for you, slashing your taxes, shredding the waste, fraud, and woke insanity, keeping boys out of girls' sports.
Thanks, Dad.
And always protecting your freedom. I'm Jonathan Bush. I'd appreciate your vote.
Erin was seriously injured in an accident on Route 11. She called the firm that's helped over 25,000 Mainers get justice.
Calling Joe is the first call that you should make. They made all of my problems disappear.
There's only one opportunity for results, to go after everything you deserve.
It costs nothing to call Joe. The call is free, and so is the case evaluation. If you want the best, call Joe.
The law offices of Joe Bornstein. Accidents happen to be their specialty.
Families across Maine are feeling squeezed. Grocery prices are too high. Healthcare costs too much. When times are tight, Joe Baldacci's record matters. He passed laws making healthcare easier to get. Joe stood up against Trump's cruel ICE raids. And in Congress, he'll fight to lower grocery prices and protect Medicare from cuts. Joe's values are Maine values. Straightforward, steady, ready to get to work. Lower costs, stronger care. Joe Baldacci for Congress. Project 218 is responsible for the content of this ad.
Dreaming of a new garage or custom build? Patriot Landscaping and Construction delivers from frame to finish. Expert craftsmanship, durable designs, and quality you can trust, we get it done right. Call Patriot Landscaping and Construction today. Let's build your future together.
Welcome back. Some schools are taking a hard look at the billions of dollars spent on technology in the classroom as the Surgeon General's office is sounding the alarm on excessive screen time. Fox's chief Washington correspondent Mike Emanuel has the story.
Schools across the country have poured billions into laptops and tablets. Now some are questioning whether it was worth it.
We want students to be prepared for the future, but at the same time, they shouldn't be doing everything on a screen.
Critics are pointing to the downside of technology on young people. Last month, the Surgeon General's office issued a warning about the dangers of excessive time online. Among them, anxiety, sleep disruption, and trouble concentrating.
So we've been using iPads and iPhones as digital pacifiers. They work very well. They prevent your child from learning how to function in the world. We've got to stop that. And so we have to, again, find ways to get them playing with other kids.
According to government data, 96% of U.S. public schools in the year 2021 to 2022 issued digital devices to students during the COVID-19 pandemic. A growing chorus of parents, teachers, and doctors now say it's time to cut back. And school districts in Los Angeles and in New York City are listening, with restrictions on devices in classrooms.
Gen Z is the first generation in modern history to underperform us on basically every cognitive measure we have, from basic attention to memory to literacy to numeracy to executive functioning to even general IQ, even though they go to more school than we did.
But there are supporters of technology in the classroom who say it boosts engagement, personalizes learning, and prepares students for the future. In Washington, Mike Emanuel, Fox News.
The White House Correspondents Association has officially rescheduled the annual Correspondents' Dinner. The black tie event held here in D.C. had to be rescheduled after a man stormed the event and was later charged with attempting to assassinate the president. Now we're learning it will be held on Friday, July 24th. President Trump just posted that he will be attending the dinner and says it will be at the Waldorf Astoria on Penn Avenue. He also adds, quote, "I don't know whether or not I will give the same rather nasty statements, at least as it concerns some people, but we will soon find out," end quote. Amazon will host its popular Prime Day sale at the end of this month. Fox Business Network's Darren Botello has a look at that story and more in today's Fox Means Business.
Markets finished higher for your Tuesday, all three major indices hitting fresh record highs. Victoria's Secret is raising its full-year sales and profit forecasts. The hike comes after the brand saw double-digit sales growth across its brands in the first quarter. The growth suggests the CEO's turnaround playbook of reining in discounts, leaning back into the brand's, quote, sexy image, and reviving its iconic runway show are paying off. Victoria's Secret will also change its ticker from VSCO to VSXY. Dollar General is raising its annual profit forecast, joining rival Dollar Tree as bargain-hunting shoppers flock to discount stores amid rising gas prices and inflation concerns. The biggest jump in demand came from shoppers earning over $100,000 who are trading down. Dollar General is also preparing for a CEO change, with Jerry Fleeman Jr. taking over next year. Amazon is moving Prime Day up to June this year. Its 4-day sales blowout will run from June 23rd to the 26th. It's the earliest in 5 years. Amazon says the World Cup and the 250th anniversary of U.S. independence made this the right week. Shoppers are expected to stock up on groceries and essentials for the celebrations. According to Adobe Analytics, last year's 4-day event drove more than $24 billion in U.S. online spending. That's business. I'm Darren Botello.
And just ahead, we have your full 5-day forecast. Keep it right here.
Well, we've had some dry weather these last couple of days, but when is this warmth coming and when is the next chance for rain showers? I'll have that for you coming up.
Graham Plattner says police officers are all bastards. He makes racist comments about black people. And if you disagree with Plattner, he calls you retarded and a fag. Read more here. Pine Tree Result Pack is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Honey, where's the countertop?
I sent it out to the granite shop this morning to be replaced.
Wow.
The quickest turnaround in the business, the Granite Shop in Sedgwick.
I'm Jim with Lowry Law. I was contacted by a woman who asked me to help one of her friends who had been hurt by a drunk driver. We got him a $250,000 settlement. If you've been hurt by a drunk driver, call me. I'm your go-to guy.
Are your basement walls bowing, crumbling, or failing? Hi, I'm Tony Hafford with TC Hafford Basement Systems. All things basementy. Our stable lock wall system offers a patented, affordable, and permanent solution to save your foundation walls. It stabilizes, fills voids, and structurally repairs, leaving a new smooth surface. All the strength of new walls. Call TC Hafford Basement Systems today for all things basementy.
Cancer affects everyone, but there is hope at Northern Light Eastern May Medical Center's Champion the Cure Challenge, where every dollar raised helps patients in our own backyard. Make a difference. Walk, run, or cycle August 15th in Brewer. Visit ctcchallenge.org.
20 years of bigotry and hate from Graham Plattner. He calls police officers all bastards, and Plattner insults black people, saying they don't tip. Read more at bigotedplattner.com. Pine Tree Results Pack is responsible for the content of this advertisement.
Big Pop, Jeter, and A-Rod announce the game for the Red Sox-Yankee rivalry. Saturday at 7:30 Eastern on Fox.
Tonight's weather is brought to you by Patriot General Contractors, your go-to for all your carpentry needs. Whether it's a full remodel or a window replacement, they have you covered. Well, taking a look at those temperatures for today, a beautiful day out there. We had temperatures in the upper 60s to low 70s. Warmer weather is on the way, don't worry, but we have to get through one more day of a little bit cooler temperatures. Tomorrow still will be warm, not as cool as today, but we do have even warmer temperatures on the way. We will cool down back into the 40s tonight. Tomorrow, like I said, warm weather is on the way. And then even more for us on Thursday. Thursday is going to be a warm one for us. This is what it looks like out here. Wednesday, it'll be warmer for us for tomorrow, close to 80, reaching for 80. Some spots will make it to 80, some spots will just miss 80. But then Thursday and Friday, we are sitting in the low to mid 80s, and then we cool back down into the 70s for your Saturday. Cool day for us on Sunday, back into the 60s, similar to where we were today, and then back into those mid 70s. Now with this heat, we also will have a little bit of humidity. It will feel a little bit muggy out there and a little bit humid out there, as well as these warmer temperatures. So it'll definitely feel warm out there, warmer than what it has felt like in the past. We also have a lot of sunshine on the way, and we have some thunderstorm chances back into our forecast as well. Now taking a look at the wind, there's not much going on out there right now. Pretty calm out there, beautiful weather out there. We got some gustier winds that will come from the coast on our Wednesday into our Thursday morning, but then it will be pretty calm for us other than that. Now, right now, we just have some clouds in the area, nothing to worry about, especially off to the west. There is not a cloud in the sky over there. That is coming our way for tomorrow. Those clouds that we have now will roll out of our area overnight tonight into the early morning hours of tomorrow, making way for a beautiful sunny day for our Wednesday into our Thursday as well. Thursday, we will bring some cloud cover back in before we have rain on the way. Now, this is what it looks like. We have the cloud cover rolling back in, and then Saturday, we're gonna get some good soaking rain. We desperately need it, but it's not going to last very long for us into our Sunday. It's already done and the sunshine will be back out. Now this is how much rainfall we're looking at. We're looking at a quarter to a half an inch or so of rainfall, so not a heavy one, just a good soaker for us. For tonight, temperatures will be in the mid 40s, partly cloudy skies, and a calm wind for us. Taking a look for tomorrow, temperatures right around 80 degrees with mostly sunny skies and a light wind. And then taking a look at your extended forecast, the next couple of days look to be beautiful with temperatures in the low to mid 80s. Saturday, we get those thunderstorm chances back into the area with low 70s. Before Sunday, we cool down dramatically into those mid 60s. Beth?
Anna, thank you so much. Folks, we will be right back with sports.
Whether you're hurt by a landscaping truck like this, a work van like this, or any commercial vehicle, we know how to get you the big money you may deserve.
Hurt by a commercial vehicle? Call the twos. We win for you.
Sprague's Nursery and Garden Center is your destination for all things green, and yellow, and pink, and red, and, well, you'll understand when you visit us. Plants aren't just another department here. They're our whole world. From gardening classes to our expansive greenhouses, we cultivate a community of budding and seasoned gardeners alike. Professional landscapers turn to us too. Shouldn't you? Sprague's Nursery and Garden Center, growing with you since 1947.
Here at Twin City Tire and Service, you will be working with industry professionals. We have ASE certified master technicians and certified tire and lube technicians. If we need your vehicle for a duration of time, we offer a complimentary shuttle service and can even offer a loaner vehicle. Being a client at Twin City Tire and Service means that we will treat you right. This includes a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on mechanical repairs. We also provide you with 1 year of complimentary roadside assistance. Come see us today at Twin City Tire and Service in Brewer.
You know Matt pretty well. Did he give you any advice?
He said that I should use 26 words or more.
25 words or less.
Wed,
Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
You just won it!
Weekdays at 9 on Fox 22.
It's time for the world's most extreme sport. The NHRA on Fox.
Welcome back in, folks. The news of the week in New England is the Patriots have a new wide receiver #1 in A.J. Brown, and he wasted no time getting to Foxborough. After being traded from the Eagles to the Patriots late Monday afternoon, the star wide receiver was already out on the practice field at Gillette Stadium on Tuesday. He wasted no time getting to New England and has even admitted he was a Patriots fan growing up and still has a Patriots rug in his house. So he lived out a dream on Tuesday, getting to wear that Pats logo for the first time.
Just talking to my mom, and I was like, man, I'm still in awe. You know, I'm trying to adjust and, you know, walking up the hill with the uniform on. I was like, man, this is real. Caught myself one point in practice, wasn't paying attention because I was like, dang, I'm a Patriot, you know, you know, and just trying to take it all in as much as I can. You know, obviously, you know, I got back to work quickly, but it's levels to it, and like I said, I'm enjoying it. It's obviously I know this ain't heaven, but you know, it's close to it.
Pats fans, you finally got your wide receiver #1. Let's swing it back local now and head to Mattinock Academy to check in with their softball team, who's well on their way to another shot at the Class C North title. Lady Lynx are on an absolute tear this season, currently holding a 13-2 record through 15 games, including a 10-game win streak along the way. The success of the team clearly can be attributed to how they play on the field on game day, but if you ask the team where they think the success has come from, they'll tell you it's rooted in the relationships they've built.
This team right here is a very, very close team. They play well together. They cheer for each other.
I think the success comes from a young age. We've all been playing together since Little League, and off the field we're all really good friends. So having each other's back and just knowing that your teammates support you makes things a lot easier.
In 2025, the Lady Lynx finished as the Class C North runners-up this season. They're looking for more. A state title. Mattinock's 3 senior captains know what it takes to win a state title, as they just experienced it with the girls basketball team this year. They say that feeling of winning and the community support is what motivates them to do it again.
Having that experience with basketball was truly amazing, and I want to get it again for softball.
It just feels really great to have, you know, just a ton of people. Like, we have a great community supporting us all the time, and it's just a great feeling. It takes kind of the pressure off a little bit.
When you put your best foot forward in sports like this and you do well, the community is always there to back you, and I think it's really special to be at those big moments like that.
You certainly recognize those faces from the basketball season. We'll stay local and go over to Mansfield Stadium for some Class D baseball. Shed taking on Jonesport Beals Tuesday night. We're going to pick this one up in the 4th. Jonesport Beals up 1 from a run in the first inning, but Tigers pitcher Jonathan Andrews settled in. He sits down a batter
to start the fourth. Later on, though, Emerson gets his bat on a ball. It hits it to second, but it takes a tough hop on the second baseman, and he reaches first while moving a runner. Same inning, a pass ball allows Trumbull to run in and score, which makes it 2-0. They'd add a third before this inning's end, but the Tigers looking to respond to the bottom of the frame. Isaac Sullivan ropes one into center field, which scores a run and gets Shed on the board. Same inning, loaded now for the Tigers, looking to really spark something, but Johnson shuts the door with the strikeout as Jonesport Beals wins 7-3. Folks, the NBA Finals are set to kick off on Wednesday, so let's give you a little preview of the matchup that we have in store. The New York Knicks and San Antonio Spurs are set to take the court for the NBA Finals beginning on Wednesday. The Knicks have had a bit of a break after sweeping the Cleveland Cavaliers 4-0 in the Eastern Conference Finals. This is the first time they've been since 1999. The Spurs, on the other hand, have not had much time to rest after forcing and then winning a Game 7 series with the defending champion Oklahoma City Thunder. The Spurs have been more fortunate in recent history, with their last finals appearance coming in 2014, where they won a championship against Miami. Here's Victor Wembanyama on what it meant to make it to the finals, and Karl Anthony Towns on keys to coming away with a ring.
Having a real shot at it, having a chance, tangible chance at winning it, at realizing a dream, you know, it's a chance. It's a lifetime chance.
Utilizing those turnovers in the defense to get our offense going. So as long as our team plays with that kind of energy and discipline and game plan execution, you know, we have a chance to win every night.
For now, that's all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back after the break.
Blazing Trails, located in Lincoln, is your #1 trusted caregiver storefront. From personalized consultations to the highest quality product, Blazing Trails provides outstanding patient services to Eastern and Central Maine. Discover how we're blazing the trails to quality holistic medicine.
If you need a lobbyist in D.C., Bobby Charles might just be your guy. But if you want a conservative businessman who will shake up Augusta, then vote for me. I'm Jonathan Bush. I'm an outsider, a job creator, and a disruptor. As governor, I will fight for you, slashing your taxes, shredding the waste, fraud, and woke insanity, keeping boys out of girls' sports.
Thanks, Dad.
And always protecting your freedom. I'm Jonathan Bush. I'd appreciate your vote.
More rain is expected today,
so roads could get slippery.
When conditions get more severe, you can feel safe driving any one of Toyota's 23 all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive models, which is more than Honda, Subaru, or Jeep. Like Tundra, the longest-lasting half-ton truck with a first-class interior, plus advanced technology. Toyota gives you more all-wheel drive choices, giving you more reason to see your New England Toyota dealer. Your all-wheel drive headquarters. Toyota, let's go places.
Ready to create your backyard oasis? Alexander's Professional Landscaping will work with you to create your perfect outdoor space. Work one-on-one with our landscape designer to create a unique garden to fit your family's personal aesthetics and lifestyle. Have our pros install your new lawn, garden, or patio. Schedule a consultation today by calling 573-4497. Alexander's Professional Landscaping, the way landscaping should be.
In Maine, we're proud that our elections are free, safe, and secure. Maine uses paper ballots, the gold standard in election security.
Absentee ballots are tracked from the moment your local town clerk mails it to you.
And then they match it to your information when you return it.
And the tabulators used to count all ballots?
They can't be hacked.
Because they are never connected to the internet.
Mainers are known for making their voices heard.
Make sure your voice is heard on June 9th.
Brought to you by this station, the Maine Association of Broadcasters, and the Office of the Secretary of State.
Blazing Trails, located in Lincoln, is your #1 trusted caregiver storefront. From personalized consultations to the highest quality product, Blazing Trails provides outstanding patient services to Eastern and Central Maine. Discover how we're blazing the trails to quality holistic medicine.
Ooh, say sorry. Your Honor. It's not an answer. I love this job.
Judge Judy.
Weekdays at 6 on Fox 22.
Serena Williams gets ready to serve, and Taylor Swift announces new music. Fox's Ashley Dvorkin with all of the latest in today's Hollywood Nation.
We can't leave.
Hathaway and McGregor fight to survive. Swift joins the world of Toy Story, and Williams makes a comeback in the Hollywood nation. Serena Williams is returning to the court. The tennis legend confirmed she'll be making her competitive comeback next week at Queen's Club in London. Williams will compete in the doubles draw alongside Canadian player Victoria Mboko. It marks her first tournament since the 2022 U.S. Open.
We've got it handled.
Taylor Swift is going to infinity and beyond. The pop superstar announced a new original song, I Knew It, I Knew You, for Disney and Pixar's Toy Story 5. The single drops Friday ahead of the animated film's release in theaters June 19th.
I think Matthew's alive.
Sam Worthington is on a mission to clear his name in today's first looks. Netflix released the trailer for the thriller Harlan Coben's I Will Find You. Worthington plays a father serving a life sentence for his son's murder, who uncovers evidence his child may still be alive. The limited series premieres June 18th.
What are we gonna do?
Anne Hathaway and Ewan McGregor are pulled into a new reality in the trailer for The End of Oak Street. The duo star as parents forced to protect their family after a mysterious cosmic event fills their quiet neighborhood with unexpected dangers, including dinosaurs. The sci-fi thriller opens in theaters and IMAX August 14th. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
Maine continues to expand registered apprenticeship opportunities. Applications for Career Pathways Program grants were due on June 1st. The Maine Departments of Labor and Education anticipate making between 2 and 4 awards of up to $250,000. They'll go to school administrative units, high schools, career and technical education centers, adult education programs, and others to develop Maine career pathways that support student and adult learner success. Labor Commissioner Laura Fortman says, quote, Maine is at an important moment. Employers across sectors need talent. Young people need clear pathways to careers and economic opportunity, and communities need strategies that help more people stay, work, and thrive here. This convening was about bringing the right people together to move the conversation to action so we can build a system where education and work are part of the same journey, end quote. Well, Maine has inspired numerous authors and artists over the years. For Edith Netter, living in the small Oxford County town of Denmark provided her the time, space, and solitude to retrace her family's German roots for a new memoir. Our Jody Hersey has more.
Edie Netter, a retired attorney who lives in Denmark, Maine, grew up knowing very little about her Jewish German grandparents.
As many children of Holocaust survivors, I grew up in silence. The one thing that my family talked about is the house.
The home Netter is referring to is the 1924 residence built by her grandparents in Germany. It's where her grandmother would make apple fritters, and her Aunt Lily and a friend would often play accordions together.
They were very much assimilated into the community. My family had what then was a decent-sized business. They were well respected.
Netter says her family's status did not protect them or their home from being taken. She writes all about the experience in her memoir called The House at Schumannstrasse 7.
My grandfather got sent to an internment camp on the Isle of Man for 4 years. My grandmother had to flee to safety.
While doing research, Netter got the opportunity to visit the home and even meet the past owners.
The first owner, she had preserved some beautiful fabric that was on the wall. It was silk, kind of a paisley pattern, and for some reason she had saved it and then gave it to me.
She hopes by sharing her family's story, others will take an interest in their own heritage. In Bangor, I'm Jody Hersey for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
An additional note that Edith Netter will be speaking at the Maine Jewish Museum in Portland on Sunday, June 7th at 2 p.m. And that is going to do it for us, folks. From everyone here at Fox 22 News, take care and have a great rest of your night. We'll see you tomorrow.
For more local news coverage, switch over to our sister station, ABC